I'm talking to a few women online, hoping to bring one of them to the US to start a family with me. I want to make sure that these swimmers are ready to go when I meet that special lady.
The way that Caesar's talking, hoping to bring one of his few women back to the States, sounds almost like he's ordering a package online. But this is a life partner he's talking about, the mother to his future children. It sounds like he's being very hasty here, especially as he's not even sure he can have kids.
Well, the results say that there is no sperm cells found in your sample.
So, where do we go from here, Caesar? If you can't have kids, are you still window shopping for potential partners online? Are you still risking repeating history? Well, before we answer those questions, before we dive into Caesar's family planning, let's just remind ourselves of his story, because this isn't the first time that Caesar's been looking for partnership online. Far from it. As I'm sure you recall, he's had quite a lot of experience with online dating, and it's cost him a lot of money and a lot of heartache. Like, for example, his first 90-day fling, Maria.
Even though we never met in person, I ended up sending her $40,000. I told Maria that I couldn't send her any more money, so she ended up breaking things off with me.
Now, you might think that after that experience, painful as it was for his heart and his wallet, that Caesar would be done trusting strangers online. But you'd be mistaken, because after Maria, we had the matchmaker that introduced him to several women, of which he tried to pursue something with a Ukrainian lady called Alona. And while their relationship did get to the face-to-face stage, they decided to end things after war broke out in Ukraine. So what's the latest in Caesar's love life? Well, it turns out he's not only looking to bring a partner to the States to be with him, but he's also looking to start a family immediately.
I'm talking to a few women online, hoping to bring one of them to the US to start a family with me. I want to make sure that these swimmers are ready to go when I meet that special lady.
It sounds more like a job interview than falling in love. Like, these few women sound more like potential job candidates than love interests. But one thing is certain, Caesar isn't messing around this time. He's got no time to waste. He knows what he wants, and he only needs two things to make it happen: a woman and sperm. So he's taking both matters into his own hands, quite literally.
Today I'm making sure that I do everything possible to have kids, right? And just to start it out, I have an at-home fertility test.
Look, selecting a mother/partner out of an online lineup and then conducting your own fertility exam isn't exactly the most conventional way to start a family, but you've got to give it to Caesar. I mean, this is some level of commitment. Like, for a guy that spent years and years chasing young Eastern European women online, the fact that he's taking this seriously, the fact that he's not taking any chances, is something. Remember, Caesar is in his 50s. He's certainly left it a little late to be starting a family. But for as much as I admire his spirit and his enthusiasm to become a father, I'm a little more nervous than he seems to be about the results of his at-home fertility test.
I just got my test results. I'm feeling really excited. You know, I can't wait to see what the email says.
The more that Caesar expresses his desire for kids, the more that he talks about his excitement ahead of these all-important test results, the more nervous I get for the guy. I mean, he's not exactly a spring chicken, is he? Sperm count and sperm quality do deteriorate with age. And unfortunately for Caesar, when he gets back his results, they don't look good.
Well, the results say that there is no sperm cells found in your sample.
Yikes. Now, I'm certainly no doctor, but even I can decipher that that doesn't look good, even for a test-at-home kit. The fact that it says no sperm rather than low sperm isn't exactly the kind of news someone who wants to have a flock of kids running around imminently wants to hear. It's pretty clear that that result has burst Caesar's bubble. So what now? Is this self-test kit accurate? Well, the only way to know know for sure is to book an appointment with a doctor to go over everything with a trained professional in person.
I'm going to go and see if if I give this semen sample to him, and we're going to get it tested, and I'm going to see right there if I can have kids or not.
Now, to say there's a lot riding on this doctor's visit would definitely be an understatement. Caesar's family life, his dream future, entirely depends on what this man is about to tell him. So naturally, Caesar is pretty nervous, and even though he might not be saying it, his unusual small talk is certainly speaking volumes right now.
What do you do there for work?
I'm a nail technician.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me see your hands. How are your hands doing?
Oh, my nails?
Yeah,
don't worry.
Caesar, the doctor's here to examine you, not the other way round. And the personal questions continue when the doctor raises a valid point. You see, he asks Caesar why it is that he's shown up to this appointment alone. He makes the observation that this is pretty unusual, especially given the circumstances and the fact that Caesar wants to have a baby, like, right now.
You're here for a fertility evaluation, and that's my forte. Most of the time, the guy is sitting here with a partner. Mm-hmm. Are you single or are you married?
The way Doc phrased that, the way he pointed out that normally men come in with someone, sounded just a tad like a backhanded insult, didn't it? At the very least, the doctor's confused, and rightfully so. I mean, I think it's fair to at least raise an eyebrow at a single 51-year-old man coming into a family planning appointment solo, checking out the doctor's manicure, and sharing his plans about picking out the mother of his child online. It's not exactly a normal situation, and unfortunately for Caesar, it might all just be a fantasy, because the doctor tells him at-home tests are usually very accurate.
Those are fairly reliable.
Yes.
But I generally like to have people get one like this at a reputable fertility laboratory where they do this every day.
That is definitely not what Caesar wanted to hear from a trained medical professional. But the doctor then starts to ask questions that might point to why Caesar's sperm count is 0. I mean, it's one thing to have low sperm count, but 0, no sperm count at all, is pretty rare for a man. And as it turns out, the doctor thinks he has a hunch as to what's going on with Caesar's body. The more questions the doctor asks, the more the pair of them begin to put the puzzle pieces together.
A few months ago, I went to the doctor and I had started testosterone therapy because, when you're 51 years old, your testosterone drops.
Now, the main reason why Caesar is taking testosterone is to help him regulate his mood, to help him feel better. And the more that the doctor starts to explain the side effects of testosterone, the more that Caesar's dream of having kids starts to crumble before his eyes. But luckily, there is a solution.
Not all men become sterile on testosterone, but many do, and it can be transient. So 90% of the time, if you stop, you generally go back to your baseline.
It's not really an ideal situation for Caesar. He says he's using testosterone to balance the hormones in his body. And by the sounds of things, it also sounds like he's using it to support his mental health. So giving up this supplement that's been working so well for him is a daunting prospect. It's pretty clear he's got some thinking to do. He's got to start weighing up his options, because one thing's for sure, starting a family isn't going to be as easy as he once thought.
Well, right now I have a really hard decision to make. Am I going to keep taking testosterone where it makes me feel better, it makes me feel good, it keeps my hormones on track?
Is it me, or is that a strange response from someone who adamantly wants kids? Like, surely there's a world in which Caesar can stop using testosterone and still feel good. Surely. Now, of course, granted, it might take a little bit of trial and error, but you've got to assume he doesn't have to sacrifice one or the other. Surely there must be options for him to feel better mentally and also get his sperm count up. But I guess without a partner, it's all just a moot point anyway. There's no point him giving up the testosterone just yet if he hasn't even got someone to have a baby with. So step 1 on his master plan is to find a lucky lady.
When you walk out of here, are you going to be actively trying?
Yes. I have to meet that special lady, and I hope that happens soon.
Yeah, wish you well.
Okay, well, thank you, doctor. I have a lot to choose from.
The way Caesar's talking, it honestly sounds like he's picking what flavour ice cream to have for dessert. A lot to choose from, Caesar. These are women, these are people we're talking about, not options on a menu. Perhaps this is precisely the reason, precisely the deluded attitude that explains why this man, desperate for kids who believes he has options, is actually all alone.